All right, welcome to Pass the Mic. It is Friday, April 4th, 2025, episode 157. We are on Zoom. Mike Piotti joining me, Mr. Michael Gervasi.
Word, word, word.
All right, well, feedback and errors from last week. Of course, last week we had the Department of Ed,
Yeah.
the response to the Department of Ed closing, and then over underrated gadgets. Gary Bailey, when we started talking about uh, how and again, ironically, we are doing this, what did President Trump call it today? Uh, whatever he called it with his tariff announcement. He gave it a special name,
Oh, Liberation Day.
Liberation Day.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the movie with this is our Independence Day, but I guess it's Liberation Day. He threw a
But
MAGA hat out to a retired UAW worker that loved this. And the talk of all this is, of course, of how reverse politics this is, right?
yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and Gary Bailey pointed out there's only been one union
Yeah.
president, ironically, probably one of the most anti-union presidents. And if you put him in the boat with Donald Trump right now, people would say he's very pro-union.
In a later life, though, anti-union president, because he was a
Yes,
former Democrat, and
and the Screen Actors Guild is,
yes.
I wouldn't call it,
Yeah.
no offense to our union brothers and sisters in the Screen Actors Guild. I don't know how rough. Well, I mean, but it's like anything else. The ones that are just getting in, it is probably rough.
I'm sure. I thought you were actually going to go a different direction with the comment that you made. It wouldn't. It's certainly not a young Republicans convention going on with the
it's not
that group
very
of.
right.
Right. Right. Right. Right.
Like, there's a few of those James Woods, right? Like, there's a couple that are like
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo,
But
like Percy.
Alex P. Keaton would not have been a member.
No,
No.
no. But Gary Bailey did point out that's a very good point.
Yeah. Very good point.
Danielle Albach, our former guest, nurse,
Mhm.
and published author, very much so liked my comment about, when I'm not worried about others, and pointing out that that's, and she also points out right away that there is no this idea. First of all, cutting education is never good, which she points out. Like, it's never a net positive. And she
Sure.
also points out that this whole idea of the best teachers, how is that judged? She raised some great points about, like, teachers that don't have access to supply. We were just talking about the randomness of students, but let's talk
Right.
about, like,
Right.
finances of, like, what technology you have and this and that. So how do you get this LeBron James slash Michael
Yeah.
Jordan slash whatever of teacher? So she came right out with that. And then Chris Pate actually liked our policy discussion. I also talked about the Obamacare uh, anniversary, and he mentioned that he enjoyed that we were doing it, and that we probably aren't making a lot of friends on Downriver Friends because we're snowflakes. But Downriver Friends is a big group. I can't say for sure what going on there. But also, speaking of Obama, the big thing with him, another controversy, not a beige suit. It's not actually a controversy. It's actually pretty cool. He went to Washington D.C. for the cherry blossoms, and
Yeah.
this mom took a picture of her two kids and photobombing it in the background just by chance walking through is Obama and I think one of his Secret Service agents. And she's like, and I don't think, I don't, it looks like it wasn't planned about,
Right. Right. Right.
and I can't say for, but like Obama found the post and like commented on it already and said, hope you enjoyed the cherries and stuff. The typical, like, Obama,
Yes.
the guy can't do wrong really, especially now that he's out of office. Like, he just walks into it now and people enjoy it. So for the most part.
So now, if we pass another amendment that allows a third term, there's a little political talk.
We
Are
may
we
not
going to
even
have a
do we even need to pass said amendment?
right? Are we going to
I
have a Trump
think
versus
I think
Obama matchup?
wisely, and just like the rumors, like people always talk about Michelle should run, Michelle should run. He's never coming back, and I don't blame him.
No, of course
And
not.
and she has made it clear that she
Nope.
wants nothing to do with it. She wanted nothing to do with it before he even started. And
But let's just have some fun here. Michelle versus Eric Trump. Would that be fun?
oh man, like I
Donald
said,
Trump
good
Jr.
good for these people that say they don't want anything to do with it, because I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would
And
from
again, we've
either
talked
party.
about this. Why does anybody want to run?
When immediately 45% of the country doesn't
Yes,
like you.
right.
It doesn't
I,
matter what.
I meant the age bracket, man. I'm
Yeah.
learning more and more. My skin is getting thinner and thinner as the years go on. I don't know how people at that age can handle that.
No. All right.
So,
What do you got as feedback?
all right, let me start with 2 weeks ago. I forgot about this one. So I think I mentioned this last week. Antoine and the Pates are Grey's Anatomy friends. Antoine is a big General Hospital fan.
Oh.
I found that amusing.
That didn't make our lists of overrated, underrated
No, but
medical
my
drama.
mom and stepdad have watched. My mom has probably seen every episode of General Hospital, which is like in its 50th year now. And one of
Okay.
the things, just a little known fact about that show that I didn't know until relatively recently, and I may have mentioned that on this show, Stephen A. Smith is a regular guest on the show on General Hospital.
General Hospital, huh?
When my mom mentioned that, I was watching ESPN one day. She said, "That guy's on General Hospital." I thought, "Yeah, mom, sure he is." He is. So my mom was right. Um, so that's the first thing. Troy sent a very lengthy message. I want to read quite a bit of this. So Troy Morosky, our Badger fan,
Yes.
he got out to vote yesterday, by the way, but putting that
Oh, he's a
aside,
registered
yes,
Wisconsinite.
it's sad, but the current
Did he win?
administration,
Wait, did he win the $1 million from Elon Musk?
he didn't, if he did, he didn't tell me. And Troy, if
According
you're
to the
listening,
podcast, I listened to this morning, I'm sure it was totally random. One of the two winners was the president of the Young Republicans, College Republicans of Wisconsin. Sure, it was totally
really,
random. Yeah.
yeah, that's got to be by chance.
Maybe Troy
Um,
was the other one. Are you there?
Volume's okay, right?
Yeah, I know you
Oh
dropped off for a
man,
second. You're all right. It's all right.
I'm good. Okay, I got a
Yeah.
funny messenger. All right, he does not appreciate now. He's very fair and balanced here because he says he's very disappointed in the Democrats too. But the current administration is selling public school teachers, effectively selling us down the river. I think is what he means to say. Making this appeal that we are talking about gay, making transgender kids, and wanting abortions. But the scary part is that so many people believe it. But again, he does mention in his next
Yeah.
sentence how
Can I
disappointed he
just
is with
start
the
with getting people
Democrats.
there on time? Can I just
Yeah,
start with
right.
that?
We can't even get people on school on time, but somehow, right. We can't even get them to bring pencils.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
he loves what you had to say about the Department of Education, not necessarily affecting you guys that much, but it still bothers the hell out of you. His 77-year-old dad, this is Troy now speaking, is very fond of saying that people ought to be proud of being woke, because being a snowflake could simply mean you give a damn about other people.
Yes, that
We
ties
don't,
in with what Danielle said. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We don't
Yeah.
have the bleep here, by the way. Um,
No.
the idea of running a education like a business is completely insane. But they probably wish that they could fire students who aren't running at 212. There's that
Yes.
212
Can
number.
you imagine? Like fourth
Um,
grade, we're just getting rid of people. You're gone.
yeah, Chris, we're certainly a little bit of a political post here. This is again Troy, but I'm saying it. His husband and he now have backup plans if marriage equality gets overturned. It's
Oh
just a
yeah.
reality they have to consider right now.
Hmm.
Um, so off of politics now, he does have a Walkman with FM radio because he's that guy. So my
Okay.
Walkman comment. He loves smart locks, but he always gets ones that have key access. He's
Yes, you don't
very
want
he's very fond of getting into positions, jobs by just showing up. Also, networking like that is a massive key to success. And I benefit from ACA every day. It probably saves him as much as 12,000 plus a year.
There you go.
So those were his comments. Max Bailey. Danny Hurley is the outstanding basketball coach in the family. Bob is okay. Bob Hurley and I think it was Bob, but Danny and Bob were working together. But Bob was the one that brought Nate Oates onto Buffalo, and now Nate Oates is doing amazing things at Alabama,
Yes.
although they got
Former
knocked out
coach of
last week.
Romulus,
Coach
state champion.
Romulus, yeah, and they really got worked though by Duke, who I'm predicting it now. They're gonna. I'm changing my prediction. I had uh I had originally picked Alabama, but now I'm going to say Duke. They look unbeatable. Anyway,
Okay.
Max loves
Speaking of
his.
Mac, oh, I'm sorry. Speaking
Yes,
of Max, Anna, because I want to tie to and Elizabeth Pate both like the smart garage door
yes.
openers.
There you go. That was it. That was it
Oh,
for
I'm
me.
sorry. I mean, it's
No, you
because
got it.
Elizabeth. I thought of Elizabeth Pate too, and
Yeah.
yes, excellent work there. So, all right, my Mike of the week, and again, we're by the way beat them Bucks. They won today and against Tampa.
Oh, they held on.
Paul Skeens 4-2. Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn. I don't know if you're familiar with her. His lovely fiance or girlfriend. I don't know what it is officially. LSU gymnast. They're featured in GQ right now, so they're popping up a lot on my TikTok, and they're doing like the old. He is like the most seems like straight. I mean, there's that famous meme of when he won the NL Rookie of the Year, and he's sitting there like, and she's like all excited, and he's like,
Yeah.
and like this interview, he's so straight laced, and she's just so like peppy and everything, and their interviews are great. But he pitched today. They won. He's 1-0 on the season. No decision in the first game because, of course, they can't do anything. But we're gonna go baseball season. Pirates had a catcher. Um, that played for them, a few years back. We already did Mike LaValliere, Max Bailey. I know you're already
Right.
thinking that,
That's what I was
but
thinking too.
there is a gentleman by the name of Michael McHenry, who played for them. Michael the Fort McHenry. Now he was a U.S. history guy. Do you want to know how he got that nickname in Pittsburgh?
Oh, really? Is that right?
He got that nickname. They said because he's a big stockier, bigger guy. His defense was really good, and Fort McHenry in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Very so that he got that nickname in Pittsburgh. And Rendog, I'm giving you a shout out on this one. One of his most famous games, he was catching on July 26, 2011, um, in the game versus the Atlanta Braves, Rendog, that went to the bottom of the 19th inning, and a very famous umpire. I'm not going to say it. Rendog will know exactly who it is. He'll probably text me Friday morning. This umpire blew this call. McHenry tagged the guy out by like 3 feet, and they called him safe. And everyone felt like these umps just wanted to get the hell out of there because there was no guy on second anymore. And the next day, Tony La Russa came out and said, this was before replay and everything, that they botched the call. The ironic thing is the Pirates were like actually pretty good at that point. They imploded on that in late July, and then they were like in the playoff hunt. They imploded after that game and never
Uh,
looked back. And a lot of people
you,
blamed the umpire.
you know what they say, Mike, you got to overcome.
Yes, the Pirates still have never overcome that
Speaking of
terrible
which,
call.
I just looked him up right now. If you Google him, immediately the first thing that pops up is his 2016 season with St. Louis, your most hated team.
Yes,
His average 0.000,
yeah, he
but
was
he
not
only
the
had one at bat, only one
yeah,
at
he was
bat.
not the most. He wasn't known for his bat. He was known for his defense, and he made a good tag in that game. Rendog, let us know who that umpire was that blew that call. All right, education topic this coming week at Carlson. Busy week coming up next week.
Yeah.
Monday is class of 2000. This is your daughter, right?
My daughter will
2029,
be in that class. Yeah. Is in that class, I
2029
should say.
freshman orientation. A ways back, we sort of did like a tips to freshman thing, but times change, things have changed, education's changed. Obviously, there is no more Department of Education at all. So, your freshman orientation time? What are you getting up there and speaking to and saying?
Well, I'm sorry. Hey, are we doing a video for that?
They came and recorded me the other day. I don't mean to pop my collar or anything, but they already came and asked the librarian to do his bit.
Wow. You are Bobby Brown. And the sad part is you don't even know what I'm talking about. Well, you do now, but
I do
all
not.
right. Well,
Yes,
that's cool. For starters, I would absolute number one thing more than anything else for freshmen is as soon as possible hook up with your captain.
oh yeah, the great
And
captain program.
yes, the captain program is amazing. It is such a wonderful program. So, number one, hook up with that captain. I'm going to tell my daughter that immediately. This is a person that is going to help you immensely.
Great kids.
Great kids and are more than willing to help. I do think, just like any kid in general, um, that might need to be pushed and then cajoled a little bit, if you will, you have to immerse yourself in these programs. You have to push yourself too, because even though these are top-notch kids that have to get recommendations who are captains, they still, they can't read your mind. They don't know what they don't know. And so therefore, ninth graders, rule number one, hook up with your captain, find out as much as you can about the school culture and stuff like that. It will only benefit you and everybody else around us. It will all be better for it. So that's my first tip. Secondly, get involved. You can kind of see it. I'm seeing it more and more now. We talked about it recently with students and their devices. The irony right now just is oozing in the Past the Mic show, but nonetheless, the sad part is nobody can see us. So
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
no, they can. They will be able to if
um,
they watch the Spotify version.
that's true. Immerse yourself. Immerse yourself. Oh, we already said that. You just ruined me, Mike. Get involved. So get involved in school activities. Again, the students that are disconnected and more connected to devices, I think, are having a harder time. I'm kind of watching it more and more now, especially since our one episode, where as opposed to the students that get involved in athletics, get involved in theater, get involved in band, get involved in drama, whatever, get involved in all those things. So those are my two big things. You will be so much better off for it.
We actually did pretty well with those ones because we're not overlapping. I got get to know your counselor because I think
Okay,
that it becomes a very big deal at the high
sure.
school. We got a great counseling department. Of course, we no longer have Kelly Walters, but Darren Dupron's doing a great job. along with Trush and Palazzolo down there. We've had an episode with the, back when Kelly was here.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of times people don't take advantage of their services, and that should start as early as ninth grade, because especially with things like the dual college, the online classes, vocational. If you wait all the way to 11th grade, you could have missed out on something.
Right.
So with that, also keep. I mean, this almost goes without saying, but I want to say it more so than you. Okay, keep your grades up, and that goes not along with just passing classes. But I'm going to violate FERPA here. Nate, as a ninth grader, didn't go 212 in all of his classes. Didn't do awful. He passed everything. But that hiccup, and he sort of got serious midway through 10th grade year, right? And from that point on, did really good. Well, at that point, he already did enough where he was not going to get into some top schools like that grade point zing already from one half a year or a year of ninth grade can do that, right, Mike? Like like you could, yeah, it doesn't mean you're not going to graduate. It doesn't mean you're not going to,
Right.
but if you have visions of going to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, or you have visions of going to out of state to like like a Notre Dame or, like a Ivy League school or Stanford, one bad grade in ninth grade year, it could be over. Like
Hmm.
that's just the way it is. That's how competitive it is.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to scare people. Of course, you should do that all the time if you're you want to pass everything. But I'm talking about even the kids that are, looking towards a 4-year degree. You could already burn bridges in that first semester,
Yeah.
with one grade. And then you sort of had it. I say do something slash find someone. You had your captain's a great choice. Doesn't, but again, find someone. You don't go about this alone. There's 1,100 kids there.
Sure.
There's another 70 staff members between teachers, secretaries, custodians, coaches that aren't teachers. There is somebody there
Hmm.
that is going to help you through times, that is going to be someone to talk to. It may be, hopefully, it's multiple people, obviously, but there are going to be bad days. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. 182 days a year for 4 years, but find your person. You, like I always say to people, you have to go there. And unlike you and I, we're not getting paid. They're not getting paid, so you might as well make the most of it and enjoy it, and find those people. So that's my tips. I know that I think that's changed a little bit from what I said a couple of years ago with some things that are in there, because the grade one hit more home to me now after what my own kid went through. By the way, right before we came online, the reason we backed this up a little bit, paid the deposit for Michigan State University. Breaking news.
Mm.
So
Congrats.
we are officially a house divided. So
That's cool.
yeah, yeah, I'm very excited about that. So congratulations to Nate on selecting that. So good. Are you good? Anything
Yeah. So
else?
is
Anything
it
else
quite
specifically for anything specific? Oh, and visit the library. Like that's what I always say. Like, right? Hop into the library.
the media specialist is always such a friendly face in the morning.
By the way, you know what April is?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
It's school library month, the whole month, and nobody even got me anything.
No. Mike, your job is the gift that keeps giving. It doesn't matter.
Nobody even wished me happy school library month this morning. I was like devastated. So all right. Overrated, underrated. Boy, we're really right on the ball of like this episode is intertwined with this week. We're on it. So last night, we joked around about it a little earlier about, and you mentioned Troy. There was a big
Yeah.
Supreme Court, one of the most expensive judicial elections of all time, a Supreme Court election in Wisconsin. And I said, what a great overrated, underrated topic. Judges,
Yeah.
because we all know some judges, right?
Yeah.
All right. So who is your overrated judge?
All right. I have a feeling. I wonder if we're going to be the same on this one. And the thing is, it's not even that this judge. I think this judge became a caricature of herself, and I had seen her on other things. And she was much more thoughtful than she presented on the show. So I'm going Judge Judy. I think the whole harsh truth, tough love stuff just got old and sometimes so unnecessary. Sometimes she wouldn't even let the people talk. And I know they were voluntarily going on the show there. So I get, in that regard, you sort of know what you're getting into, but I think it became an old bit. So I'm going with
Yeah,
Judge
she
Judy.
sort of made some, I don't know. She took advantage of some people, I think. So, here, Nate, I'll tilt the camera. Nate's just getting out of the shower now. We want to stay family friendly. There we, there he goes. All right. Uh, all right. Mine, I'm gonna go totally. Mine's also a celebrity judge, not really, but not even a court judge. You watch The Voice.
Yeah. How interesting. Go on.
Where I'm going with this? Okay, on
No,
my again, I think it's I don't watch it religiously. Elisa does. It's another one of these things where I'll be in bed and like I find that she like fast forwards a lot through it all. Like I think she like listens to the song sometimes and then fast forwards through the judges or vice versa. I think of all the judges, to me, most overrated. And this is not about him as a musician. I do think he's very talented singing wise. I don't like his antics on the show. So I would say, as an overrated judge, it's Adam Levine is my overrated judge. I'm sure all the
okay.
women or men, because not that there's anything wrong with that, that fawn over him. Um, I don't like him as a judge on there at all. Again, Maroon 5 singing, great. I
Sure.
think he's very talented. Judge wise, overrated. I think I like some of the other judges better on there. John
Okay.
Legend. Uh,
Okay. Interesting. My underrated
oh,
from The Voice.
okay.
Nice
Who is?
lady. Alicia Keys.
Oh, nice lady.
I
Very
love
nice lady.
Alicia Keys. I think she's so talented. I think she is amazing singer, and I thought as a judge she was wonderful. She's so authentic and real
Mhm.
in every conceivable way. So my underrated is the judge from The Voice. It's Alicia Keys.
Very nice. That's a good one. Did she sing that Girl's on Fire? Is that
Yeah.
Alicia Keys? Yeah,
Mhm.
great tune. My underrated, I'm going now. I'm like, look at this. We're hitting on all aspects. I'm going to a court TV judge,
Okay.
People's Court, Judge Marilyn Milan, not Wapner, Cuban-born parents out of Manhattan,
Oh, the
Elizabeth
Pates,
Pate, Elizabeth
Elizabeth.
Pate, spoke Spanish before she spoke English, and then she was a like her real like I think Judge Judy was like a judge actually in New York. Marilyn Milan was a judge in Florida for many years. Longest serving judge on the People's Court, 22 seasons. And Judge Marilyn Milan and I have something in common, as well as Oscar A. Carlson, Dale Krieger, Carol Prodzik, Zoe Stoltz. May 1st birthdays. May
I thought
1st,
that's where you're going with that.
1961. I didn't even realize that until I pulled up her Wikipedia page. I think she's great on the show. I
Is
think
that the
she
year
has the
you were born or no?
no, nice lady, 61.
Just
She looks,
asking.
hey, for 61, she looks great. Um, 61 born. Also, let me just say that I think where she still gets the zings in, like Judge Judy does. But I think there's also a lot more compassion with Judge Marilyn Milan. And I always liked People's Court. That was always like my in the summer when I was off. Like I would make sure that and it'd be on for like 1 hour at 10. I could never figure out I'd find it. I would always want to watch that. I liked it. And then the one guy that was out in the hallway, you know who I'm talking about? Doug
No.
Llewellyn. Doug Llewellyn, is that his name?
From
I don't
what?
know. Well, Harvey,
Oh,
the guy from TMZ was outside on the street asking people
okay.
questions, and that's the guy that
Oh,
from the original one all the way back with
I
WAP.
don't
I don't
even
even know how he's
remember.
still alive. Well, all right. Judge Marilyn Milan, my underrated judge. We'd love to hear your overrated, underrated judges. Again, if you want to go as high as the Supreme Court, that's fine. We weren't going to get that serious, so maybe our friends on Downriver and Friends will come back to us now this week that we've brought the judge bar way down. We didn't like start throwing Thurgood Marshall and Ruth Bader Ginsburg out there and
You,
uh, Rehnquist and stuff like
you
that.
think they
So,
have an opinion on those guys?
or we didn't even do any downriver judges. All right, hot mic take. What's your hot mic take for this week?
So, I came across a commercial recently. I'm not even sure if maybe I was dreaming or something, but I think it was real. Drew Bledsoe.
Yes,
Familiar with him? Yes, of course
yes.
you are. For the listener that doesn't know, maybe our younger audience, Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback who was in the quarterback before the GOAT took over in New England, Tom Brady, and suffered an injury early in the season and a horrific hit. And Tom Brady takes over and never looks back, and the rest is history, so to speak. So it got me thinking when I watched the commercial, not just about that. So, but I'll start with that. What sports roles were lost like that, and never to be. I mean, Bledsoe was hurt from again. He became a starting quarterback in a couple other places, but that was for all intents and purposes, that was pretty it for him being a successful NFL quarterback. So, what sports roles were lost? Maybe due to injury or something like that. The most famous, Wally Pipp, Lou Gehrig takes over for him. But then it got me thinking like acting roles that weren't. And I only want to give a couple because I came across a bunch. But the movie Titanic, I found this and I did not know this. And this is actors who turn down roles. And I'm just
Okay,
going Titanic because that movie is obviously hugely successful. Claire Danes turned down the role of Rose.
really great actress, by the way. You ever watch
Yeah,
that? What was that show on Showtime with Homeland?
Homeland. I didn't. Heard so much about it that
Oh, great show.
she was wonderful on my so-called life,
Yeah.
90s. And then Matthew McConaughey turned on the role of Jack.
Oh, really?
So
I can't
it
see
kind
him
of
there.
no,
Oh.
to me it won't work. But I mean, and Claire Danes does kind of fit into
Yeah,
almost
Claire
any role you
Danes.
would put her
Yeah,
in.
you
But
got to
yeah,
watch
so
Homeland. You would like Homeland.
I've heard that so many times.
Okay.
But yeah, back on topic here. So I just want to know, like those type of things where people, again, actors and actresses, a little bit of a different thing, but people who, lost roles or people who lost positions or something like that. I want to know from the listener what they can come up with. I'm sure, Tony hasn't commented
Oh yeah,
in a little while. I'm sure
The Ren Dog will be good on this too. He's a
he'll
big
be all
movie
over that
guy,
one.
a
Yeah.
big so he'll let us know who the umpire was and let us know about that, like roles that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
There's always talk about that, and they interview people. And by the way, speaking of actors, Val Kilmer passed away today, the day we are
Today. Yeah.
recording,
Yeah.
April 2nd. He had a rough end of life though. What do you have, like throat cancer or
I don't know.
esophageal?
He was looking and it didn't look good for him the
No,
last
not
time I
that, not that dying's great, but I mean,
no,
this was not a surprise. He had
sure.
been fighting this and he had some, I mean, like people will often say like Top Gun, but, his Western role is probably his most famous, right? Like in,
Yeah.
who did he play? He didn't play Wyatt Earp, right? He played
Was it Tombstone?
Tombstone. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Tombstone. Yeah. I think, I don't know. Now we're really going to get
It
blasted
was
by the
Jim
Ren Dog.
Morrison
That one's yeah, that he's had multiple
yeah,
sort of
right,
iconic roles, I guess
right.
is what I'd say. All right, my hot mic take, and you were caught a little bit surprised by this. Last Friday, the night of the Michigan State game, by the way, we both lost on Michigan. We both had picked Michigan right to win, and we didn't want to, and I had picked Michigan State. We didn't really pick the next round because we were already off the air, but I watched that game with some residents in the neighborhood here, had a few beverages, family friendly.
Sure.
And that night also, the Tigers were playing the Dodgers. You familiar with the Dodgers, the LA Dodgers?
I've heard they have a couple good players.
Couple good players. Well, the
One or two.
Tigers had this lead in this game, and then um, looked like they were going to have this go ahead run come across the plate, which by all intents looked in live action at worst a tie,
Hmm.
but very hard to overturn, right? Because like that's a whole NFL and replay. Like it has to be
Yeah. That's
clear as
me.
day evidence.
Right.
And crazy in LA, that team that needs every break they can get, the
Absolutely
LA
they do.
Dodgers. The call gets overturned, and then of course Mookie Betts goes on to hit another home run in extra innings, a 3-run bomb. Probably not even their best player. And I'm pulling up the record. You know what the Dodgers' record is right now?
What is it? Have they
Seven
lost
and
yet?
zero. I know this is
7 and
probably
0.
shocking to Kent Sakura and Max Bailey that the
Yeah.
Dodgers are 7-0. They are 7-0. And I just want to say that Major League Baseball, you keep at it. What a game for us fans. By the way, the Pirates are 2-5 after today.
Tigers are 2 and 4.
The Tigers are 2-4, and I believe they're losing currently to Seattle. Just
Oh, they
Oh, by the
lost.
way, the Yankees are 3-1, and by the way, hitting home runs with some mutant bat. By the way, as if any team needed it. The Dodgers are probably like, hey, how come they're probably like getting shipped to LA like overnight. And meanwhile, like Pittsburgh's calling, and they're like, how much are these bats?
To be clear, listen, I'm looking at the standings right now. To be clear, the Tigers are 2 and 4, which means they're tied for first place in the division.
Oh,
They're also
gosh.
tied for last place. Every single team in the division right now is 2 and
The AL
4.
Central, the AL Central's killing it. Yeah, the the Pirates are going to call me like, "Hey, how much are these bats?" And they're like, "What? Where are you calling from?" We're like Pittsburgh, and it'll be like, "Click." Good luck, Skeens. Again, baseball. It's I was so angry, Max, and they give us a hard time. Like we don't care. I very much cared that night. I was sending angry texts at 1:30 in the morning to the group chat.
You were. Hey, we watched the
I,
first game together.
hey, I commented on the MLB posted something like with Mookie Betts and the Dodgers are 5-0, and I commented and I'm like, oh, what a great game. Signed Pittsburgh and Tiger fan. Like how great for the league. What a joke. And you know what? Here's the thing. San Diego, who's spends somewhat. They're 7-0
Mhm.
too. So good. Guess what? I'm going to become the biggest Padre fan in the world. I'm officially now Pirates, Tigers right here. And now I'm going to go buy myself a Padre hat just because I want them to win that AL West.
Man, so watching that first Tiger game when we were together there, a nice bar in
Oh,
Corktown,
yeah. Yes.
you
Nice
know,
area.
man, the Dodgers, it's like one bat after another that you're
Tom
like,
Tom Hanks was all happy.
he was. I'm sure he was on the edge of his seat there. Who it was such a shocking result. I'm with
Yeah, I
you.
think I like this idea. I'm going to do this like a spite team. Has anyone ever done this as a spite team? Like
I'm sure.
I'm
Well,
going to do this. The San Diego. Listen, back when the Patriots were winning everything all the time, I was rooting for when the Steelers were out. I don't care what AFC team it was, except for maybe the Browns. I was like the biggest Ravens fan in the world,
yeah,
the biggest Colts
I
fan
was
in the
that way
world.
whenever the Bulls played anybody. Now, I got to tell you, so you're mentioning the play at the plate. That weekend, I think our Detroit teams got a little, we got a little screwed overall. And I've said it on the show, and I'm sure Max is going to blast me for this. I don't want to blame referees, or in this case, the NBA league.
Overcome.
Yeah, overcome. But the Pistons had a little brawl this weekend too.
Yeah,
And for the life of me, I still watching this fight. I still cannot figure out Ron Holland, 19-year-old, got had a Timberwolf player come after him, then another one kind of grab him and throw him in the crowd. He got as many games as the Timberwolf guys. And first of all, they both got thrown out. So now the Pistons get a national TV game tonight. Cade is still not playing. It would be cool to have this national TV game,
yeah.
and they got three guys suspended. Who did the suspending?
Broadthorn.
Joe Dumars, baby.
Oh, Rod Thorne's not doing it
He's
anymore.
his
I didn't.
predecessor. Yeah, yeah.
Is he still even alive? I don't even think he's
I
alive,
would
to be
assume
honest.
he's still alive. He made some appearances in Michael Jordan's 2020 documentary. So
Okay, so there we go. So those people that say we rip on baseball all the time, sometimes we rip on baseball because it's well deserved. But we talked about it a lot today. So we got our spite team in. We got a lot of Paul Skeens talk and Tigers talk.
I'm watching that Dodgers game the other day, the Tigers Dodgers game. It was like watching an All-Star team. Like
I
every
it's
to
hey,
ask school ball to get
overcome,
through that line, overcome. Yeah, I know.
overcome. You just got to
Right.
overcome. That's and by the way, this is also breaking. You're bringing up Detroit teams. The Wings are imploding again. So I'm sure Wojo will write something nice about the parking lots and Steve
Wait,
Eiserman.
wait,
Yeah.
you seem happy about that.
Well, the Steelers at least make the playoffs. I mean, it's even worse. I mean, I think this is going to match like their longest drought ever if this happens, like the famous '80s
Is that
Dead
right?
Wings
Really?
drought. I thought I heard that on the radio, and again, here's the other thing, Mike. We've said this before: making the NHL playoffs is not a big deal. Like it's not. It
No,
doesn't even
but
mean you're. It doesn't even mean you're that good.
you're right. But hockey, unlike the other three major sports, you got a shot when you get there.
You
Like,
do, but again, the level of making it, we're acting like it's like
yeah, yeah.
oh they made the
You're right. You're
that
right.
is
That's
not
fair.
like it's not the sign of some powerhouse NHL program. I mean,
Sure.
so I don't. It's like what are we even doing here? So okay, so even if you are the last team in, is this something that I mean after all these years you should be we're celebrating like compared to what it was like here in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then it's through the early 2000s. It's absolutely crazy how low the bar is.
Well, it's not over yet. They're I think 4 points out right now as we speak.
But there's a plenty. The thing is, there's lots
There's
of
a lot of
teams
teams.
there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bar is high, as Marty Morningwood would
Morning,
say.
morning. Yeah.
A lot of references out there. All right, everybody, have a great week, and we will see you next week.